Namaste everyone and good evening. I'm Sandhya from Ruddhi Technofarm and I have with me noted nutritionist Dr. Sudarshan Rao. We are doing the second part of our session on nutrition, which is on food labeling. Last month we had discussed about the multiple components that you can see on the food labeling, which are to do with the amount or the kind of ingredients that go into it, the importance of knowing what are the ingredients in the product, the weight, the expiry date, and others. So today we'll be discussing the second most important aspect of our labeling, which is nutritional details on it. There's a lot for us to learn about it, and I would request Doctor to explain about the same. Doctor.
Yeah, thank you, Sanja. So we'll start actually. Once again, I welcome you all for this nutrition awareness program that we have been doing. And as you know, we had last month we had on food labeling. That was part one. So basically, we try to understand that what are the essential requirements of food labeling, where we'll just try to know what is inside the package and what are the ingredients, food ingredients that are there, and how fresh was this thing, depending upon the date of manufacture, and how long it will stay in the shelf, so expiry, all that, and best before also we try to understand the earlier these things. Now what we will try to do now today, we will be doing on the nutritional facts. Once you have the basic ingredients, like food ingredients in the packet, so what is the nutrition that you get out of it? That's the most important thing for you to actually pick up. See, what we have been telling is that this label will help you to identify which is a healthy food, okay, for you. So for
Correct.
that, yeah, for that we should try to understand that what are the nutrients that are present in this particular packet. So that is called nutrition facts table. You find that back of the packet, and here first thing that you should try to read is that how many servings a packet will give you. Servings means that usually we consume some amount, x amount, for each
The
of the
regular
products.
standard measures.
Standard measures. So it depending upon the type of food. Take for example, if fruit drink is there, so generally 150 ml people take that as a one serving. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So likewise, so even of course spices like sambar powder also is available in packets. So
Yeah.
there also they'll try to give how many people you can this can be served. So that is the number of servings. So this servings, once you see that servings, then against that you will sign calories. That means the amount of energy that you are likely to get if you consume one serving that of that particular food. Calories are essentially a measure of energy that you get once you consume
Mm-hmm.
that particular food. So based on that number of servings, you will have roughly idea that how much energy you get once you consume one serving of that particular food. And alternatively, they also provide information per 100 grams also. Per 100 grams is a little difficult for you to actually convert into a serving. So that's why it is better you look for servings, and you will be able to understand that how many calories you are likely to get if you consume one serving or two servings, depending upon your requirement. Okay, once you have that, the next one that will be the below that will be the major nutrients, like carbohydrates, proteins, fats. Okay, the information will be on that. So the most important thing here, so before we go into that, is we try to understand what each of these nutrients, how many calories it gives. Carbohydrates and proteins, they give, for each gram of protein or carbohydrate, you get 4 calories of energy. Okay, so
Okay.
you can directly convert into multiply and try to see how many calories you can get based on the information they have provided. And whereas fat gives 9 calories. See, the calorie density
Mm-hmm.
always will be high when fat is there as a part of your food. Okay, so it
Mm-hmm.
gives 9 calories per gram, right? And once you see that among the fats also, they'll give you information like total fats. Fats will be different types of fats will be there in a particular food. I think we have discussed earlier somewhere the saturated fat,
Yeah, in the
polyunsaturated.
previous month.
Yeah,
session.
polyunsaturated fats, okay, monounsaturated fats. Okay, each one of has a very specific function in our body, and then our concern is always to actually limit the consumption of saturated fat. Okay, they'll provide under total fats, they'll give you the amount, and then against that the calories, and then below that they also try to give you how much of saturated fat there, how much of polyunsaturated, monounsaturated, like that. You should actually limit your consumption if your saturated fat is little high,
On the higher side.
yeah.
Okay.
So against this information there will be one more column trying to give you information that how much of it percentage of your daily calories it is providing, that is daily value. As a, see, we have discussed about the RDA, recommended dietary allowances, and balanced diet, right? So
Yeah,
each
what we
packet,
should be taking in a day
yeah,
life.
yeah. So this packet
Yeah.
generally, this nutritional fact is for 2000 calories. So 2000 calories
Mm.
should contain all the vitamins, minerals, fats, all those things which are essentially required to maintain our balanced diet. Okay. So they'll
Okay.
provide you what percentage of that. Supposing if you take one packet of one particular food, so what percentage of fat you are likely to get from this consumption of one serving? That is percentage of
Mm.
RDA or percentage of daily value they give. Okay,
Mm.
so that will tell you so how to actually limit consumption of other foods if at all you are taking a similar food or a saturated fat in terms of saturated fat. Okay, so once you have that, the next thing comes with carbohydrates.
Mm.
So they'll also give you here also the carbohydrates are two three types, the total carbohydrates, and then below that there'll be sugars and added sugars. Okay, foods will have naturally some sugars. Okay, sugars means not only sucrose, there are so many other chemical substances which are also called sugars, which also gives little slightly sweeter taste, but there are different types of sugars, and they'll be there as a like fructose, lactose, all those things are sugars only.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are naturally present in food, and then they'll add sugars also, they added sugars. So our concern is always to limit the added sugars like sucrose, mostly sucrose.
Okay.
uh, yeah, okay, they you have to try to look at that added sugars. Okay, so these added sugars is a concern because they come without any nutrients. I mean, except calories, they don't give you any essential nutrients that you are likely to get. Okay, that's why we say that you should restrict your consumption of this added products with added sugars. Like I just try to give you this fruit drink. You just see it will be around 10 to 12% of sugars will be added sugars. That means if you are taking 150 ml as a per serving, so you'll be getting 15 grams, maybe 3 spoons of sugar in one go.
Oh my God.
Okay, so that's how you have to calculate and try to see. Once you have that, the next one will be protein. Okay, again protein, I told you 4 calories it gives. This here it will be only protein they'll be trying to give you. There is no other classification here. And then below that you also find dietary fiber, because dietary fiber is also equally important for our health. Okay, so they give the percentage of dietary fiber present in that particular product. These are the major nutrients. Then below that you will find micronutrients like vitamins, minerals, which are, so all these macronutrients will be given in terms of grams because their quantity is high. Okay, so we come to micro nutrients, they'll be in milligrams. Like take for example calcium or vitamin A or iron, all those things will be below that. And here also they'll try to give you the what percentage of this RDA it is meeting if you consume one serving. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
here it will be in milligrams, the other one will be in grams, so quantity will be different. And here again, once you have these things, the other thing you should try to understand is that the claims that they make on nutrients. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
what happens is that whenever these products are made, they'll be writing information like, it's a very rich in this particular calcium or iron or something like that. So even this terminology which they are supposed to be using is also regulated by the FSSI. That means what type of words you are supposed to use when you are actually trying to convey this information to the consumer. So when you say the source means they say that it will give. Supposing we are talking about milk, supposing you are trying to consume milk, so they'll say it's a source of calcium. That means it will give good amount of calcium if you are consuming this particular milk. So what do you mean by
Okay.
source? So there is a quantity that is required to be meeting this RDA. So 15% of RDA should be there. When they say, somebody claims on the label that it is a good
Oh,
source of calcium or any other micronutrient, it should be 15% of RDA. Okay, as I
okay.
told you, that against that quantity they also will give you percentages, right? You can
Correct.
actually, yeah,
Correct.
yeah. And somebody will say it's a very high in calcium. When you use the word high, source is different, high is different. Okay, when you say high, it should be 30% of RDA. Okay.
Okay.
When
Okay.
somebody writes it's a source of calcium, it should be 15% of RDA. And if somebody says that it is a very rich or high in calcium, it should be 30% of RDA.
Oh, that's a very
Yeah,
important info
that's why you have to see,
because
because many times what happens is, nutritional facts label, if you are reading, they'll just claim that we have added iron, we have added X, Y, Z. I mean, all these micronutrients, they'll be claiming it, but
Mhm.
they may not have, it doesn't give you the benefit of being there. For that purpose, you
Mm.
should look for this. So mere presence of these things in small quantities will not help you, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so
because you
yeah,
have so many products which claim that it is rich in iron, rich in
yeah, yeah,
calcium,
yes. So this,
and particularly when we think about children, the health of
yeah,
children, and we go specifically go buy things which are rich in
yeah,
calcium or things like that.
yeah,
Uh, so, what you have pointed out is we should be looking out whether it is at least 30 percentage of the RDA in that
yes.
product.
So that the even
Okay, that's
terminology is very important. You don't get they can't use casually any word, and whatever the words they are supposed to be used are also actually specified in the regulations. If they write source, they should be 15%. If they write it's high rich in this calcium, it should be 30% of RDA. And again, of
okay.
course, of late, we are also finding a lot of people are concerned about the calories. So they look for low
Mm.
calorie. What do you mean by low calorie? When a product can be claimed as a low calorie, if it is only giving 40 calories per 100 grams. If a
Okay.
product is giving you only 40,
Overall.
yeah. So I told you that biscuits, if you just check anytime you check this nutritional facts label and a biscuit, it will be around 450 grams, 450 calories per 100 grams. Okay,
Mm.
so that it's a calorie dense, right?
Mm.
So if somebody wants to claim that it is a low calorie, it should have only 40 calories per 100 grams.
Okay. Mm.
So it will be one tenth of what is actually claimed on the biscuits, right? So if you want to have
Mm.
low calorie, okay. Similarly, if somebody is trying to say zero calories, there are so many products which are on zero calories. There also you will get some calories. So those calories should not cross 4 calories per 100 grams. Okay.
4 per 100. Okay.
If it is zero, if they are claiming it is a zero
To
calories,
be zero.
you
It's
have
almost zero.
diet cola, all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.